Hello, guys. Welcome to another American Wrestler interview. Today we have Carlos Ornelas and Logan Mantezolo from Byron High School. So Logan, you were District 2 6A champ, Region 1 6A champ, and placed fourth at UIL state and first in Greco and freestyle state. Congratulations. How long have you been wrestling for?
3 years.
And what grade are you in right now?
I'm a junior, going to senior year.
Awesome. Do you have any further plans for after graduation?
I plan on going to college to study to be a physical therapist.
That's super cool. What inspired you to start wrestling?
The program at my middle school,
Mhm.
it was new, so I just started going to practice, and I just started liking it.
That's awesome. Coach, did you have any difficulties training and practicing with COVID going on?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge for everybody, especially in the summer when we're normally doing open mat and getting workouts in. We were forced to be outside, and then still having to wear masks. And so we took workouts outside in the summer with the kids that were showing up, and then once school year got here, we wore masks at pretty much all training unless we were outside and able to socially distance. Even throughout the year and the season, kids practice with masks. We had them in groups of two or three. We moved, we have a small mat room, so we moved into our indoor football field so we could roll out two mats and we could stretch out and spread out more across those mats. And we kept kids together in what we called pods.
Mhm.
So that way, only those same two or three kids practice with each other every day, more or less, for contact tracing purposes and stuff. So definitely a challenge, but we were thankful to get that season in. And even though it's short and in a hurry, we were still able to make it work. We didn't really have any issues with kids getting COVID. Had a handful of kids get quarantined just because of lunch or other situations where they're around somebody nearby. But we're thankful that we weren't really affected by it too much throughout the year.
I'm glad that everybody was well throughout it all. You have been coaching for 4 years. Did you know that you wanted to be a coach from a young age, or is that something that you discovered as you got older? I know you said that you were working for an architectural firm. So what inspired you to jump into coaching, especially wrestling?
I think deep down, I always knew I wanted to coach and stuff. Like even through high school, I coached some. Like I helped out the youth clubs whenever I was training, practicing. I was also helping with the little kids. I coached like some softball and baseball teams too. Then, so I always kind of had a niche for coaching, I think.
Mhm.
But then when it came down to it, I decided I wanted to do architecture because I also did love kind of design and architecture and kind of work through that. And so, um, I went to school for architecture. Uh, Graduated, got a job here in the Dallas area. I was actually in Dallas when I first moved down here, and then the company moved. But then there's just a day where, I also officiated. I refereed for about a year and a half while I was doing that job, and I just, I always had that itch. I always knew I wanted to be on the mat. I was still competing in judo and always on the mat with wrestling. And so I just finally kind of made the decision. I had a day. I remember the day I was sitting there looking at some drawings, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what am I doing sitting here at the computer all day? Like, I loved architecture, but there's certain parts of it I wasn't at the time that I wasn't a fan of, and I just knew it was time to make that switch. And so went and got my alternative certification. Got hired by Byron, thankfully, to teach architecture initially. Wasn't until my third year, I believe. I just completed my seventh year teaching at Byron, and by my third year, I got hired on as assistant for football and wrestling. But all that time, like I was helping out with their youth club, and I was helping out with the high school kids, working with them, even whenever I first started teaching, and just kept staying on the mat, staying involved, trying to be part of the community as much as I could. And then eventually, I just completed my fourth year as a head coach, and so all the stars kind of aligned. Where I'm teaching architecture here at Byron too, so thankful to be able to still work within architecture, but then also do my second level, which is wrestling, on top of all that.
That's really awesome. I'm glad everything worked out for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Logan, do you plan to wrestle after college? Are you looking at any schools that you're like, I would love to go there?
Um, I'm looking at a couple schools. I'd like to focus on education first.
Mhm.
So just picking the best school for my education. And if I could wrestle, I would.
Do you have any heroes in your life, any people that inspired you to continue your educational journey or your wrestling journey?
Education journey, my mom. So like I don't think my mom or dad had went to college. So yeah, I'm gonna keep
You're going to be
continuing.
the first one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And is there any musicians that you listen to, any go-to artist that get you pumped up?
Probably Dua Lipa.
Dua
Um,
Lipa's awesome.
yeah. And
Any changes that you would like to see happen in the sport in the next 5 to 6 years?
Whew. I know there's been a lot of talk with some of the weight classes. I think that would help. Just some of the conversation that's been going on. Just I don't like the idea of cutting weight classes. I know that's been one of the biggest discussions.
Mhm.
14 or 15, adding one maybe at the heavier weight, just allow for more competition. I know some teams struggle to fill teams, but others, we've got the numbers, having positions type deal. There's been talks about, the push out rule, I kind of like that idea, just modified scoring, some of those takedown tournaments kind of follow that. That's always fun. I don't know. I'm sure there's more that
Mhm.
I think of right now off the top of my head. I know I've discussed a lot of different topics with different coaches throughout the state. And so I do always enjoy kind of having those conversations though, and kind of sitting our brains, seeing kind of what we go and get ideas going on the table.
Yeah, for sure. And what about for you, Logan? Is there anything that you would want to see change in the sport in the next 5 to 6 upcoming years?
the only thing I really have a problem with was the consistency of the rules
Mhm.
because they always get changed every year.
Mhm.
I think like there needs to be like a set, just a rule. I
Like a
mean, like
guideline that everyone could follow, kind of
yeah, a
thing.
guideline that everyone could follow. Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that.
Stalling's the biggest issue we have. Just stalling on our feet, stalling on top. I don't know how many times we had legs in or trying to work a kid that was just laying there, and then we got called for stalling on top when we're trying to turn a kid, but kid's just laying there balled up. So
Yeah.
I think that goes to what Logan's saying, just general consistency. We get called by one official, but not others, and it's hard. It's hard for them sometimes too.
Mhm.
Positions. So
It's really interesting. It's definitely a very complex sport, I think, in regards to as far as rules and regulations and stuff like that. So
mhm.
definitely, how do you guys feel that wrestling has impacted you as a person? And this is a question that both of you guys can answer.
Go ahead, Logan.
It's definitely made me more confident, and it's definitely made me more outgoing as a person, and it's made me face and pass adversity
Mhm.
in life overall. Yeah.
Yeah, basically a lot of what Logan said. It's definitely made me tougher, more resilient. I remember, growing up wrestling gave me that same confidence to go out there and toe the line, but then also to be able to, face some adversity and power through it and power through it and power through it. There's a lot of situations where you can easily bow down, but I think wrestling's taught a lot of us that, you can't, and how to fight through that, how to fight through pain, not just the physical pain, but emotional and just mental pain that you sometimes run through in the sport and
Mhm.
do certain barriers and stuff. And also just how to persevere, to continue to persevere. You get hit in the mouth, you keep pushing forward, and things that easily translate into life. Especially as you get older and become an adult, and you have bills and you have families and you have bosses, and you have all these extra things that you don't necessarily think of or deal with as a kid. But
Mhm.
definitely thankful for all the sports given me through humility and just being humble and just that passion to fall in love with something like that too.
Mhm. That's really beautiful. What would you guys say to anybody out there who comes across this video who is maybe interested in wrestling but just doesn't, is waiting for that sign to get into it or doesn't know how to start their journey?
You could start anywhere, I feel like, and it helps. It helps. You just gotta learn from your losses and just don't let them dismotivate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just I would tell that new person, find a friend. It always helps to have a friend who's kind of going through that process with you. If they're not already on a team or already doing something, find a buddy to kind of help you and go through that process. But just try it out. You never know what you end up enjoying. We had a senior that graduated this year. I was a first year wrestler, and that was kind of her senior quote. Something new. You never know. You might surprise yourself, and she did. Like, she ended up going to regionals, almost making it to state as a first year wrestler, and that could really kind of open my eyes. Like, she's brand new, and try something out. You never know, what kind of success you'll have with that hard work. So go for it. Just go for it. Try it. You might love it. If you don't, then just find something else and get involved with that. You're going to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really awesome. Thank you guys so much. Any shout outs that you guys want to give? Any messages out there for any family or viewers?
Just shout out to all the coaches, all the athletes out there, that competed this year. I know it wasn't easy, but y'all found ways to make it work and to get on the mat, stay on the mat, just continue to support one another and just continue to grow the sport and in every facet, from women's wrestling to Greco to freestyle. Just stay involved and when you're on social media, keep hyping each other up. We're advocates. So that's one thing I try to do is,
yeah, we need more social media for wrestling for sure. More demonstration and publication.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to join me for this interview. We wish you nothing but the best, Logan. Keep being awesome. And same thing to you, Coach. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.